Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of May the 4th, 2021 for North Algona Wilberforce to order. Can we please stay seated for a moment of silent reflection? Thank you very much. We will move on to the mayor's address. On Saturday, May the 8th, 2021, the Lake Dory Property Owners Association will be kicking off our Municipal Green Stewardship Cleanup Program. Residents throughout our municipality are welcome to join this initiative. Rubber gloves and garbage bags with non-disposal tags can be picked up at the municipal office for any residents that wish to participate in the cleanup program. On behalf of council, I want to thank the Lake Dory property owners for their participation and support of this important environmental stewardship program. On Friday, April 23rd, 2021, I attended the Upper Ottawa Valley presentation on the provincial regulation to establish police service boards in every OPP detachment area in the province. Joanne Reading, the representative from the province, provided a summary of the legislation, the guidelines for establishing the board, and answered any questions from the mayors in attendance. A letter from the city of Pembroke is attached to the agenda as the city is indicating that they want to maintain their own policing board. This is allowed provided all the participating municipalities are in agreement. On Friday, April 23rd, 2021, I attended a meeting with Premier Ford, Minister Elliott, Solicitor General Jones, and Minister Clark on the vaccine deliveries and rollouts. On Monday, May the 11th, 2021, Algonquin College Pembroke campus is hosting a virtual speaker series with the Honorable Murray Sinclair, lead commissioner for the Truth and Reconciliation Report. Registration is available through the college website or by contacting Jamie Bramberger, Manager of Community and Student Affairs. The spring freshet is finished for 2021 with no reported flooding incidents. The lakes and rivers are at or below average summer levels. That is my mayor's address. I have a resolution that the May 4th, 2021 mayor's address be accepted as presented. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Burnt. Councillor Buchwald.
Yes.
Councillor Burnt.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Ranke-Schoenfeld. Councillor Ranke-Schoenfeld.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm a yes.
And
That's carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then we will move on to item 5, the adoption of the minutes. I have a resolution that council accepts the April 20th, 2021 regular council minutes and the April 23rd, 2021 special council minutes as presented. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Buchwald, seconded by Councillor Ranke-Schoenfeld. Any additions, corrections, or omissions? I'll then call the vote. Councillor Burnt.
Yes.
Councillor Buchwald.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Ranke-Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's carried. Thank you. We have no delegations, so we'll move to item 7.1, which is Gristmill Road. I have a resolution that council accepts the Gristmill Road Speed and Safety Concerns Report as presented, and that council directs the speed limit be posted as 60 kilometers per hour And further, that safety warning signs be posted at both ends of the road, along with areas that staff deem as safety concerns. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckwalt. Comments or questions? Councillor Burnt?
Is that going to be the whole length of the road from Highway 60 right into Bonshire Valley town limits?
It will be the full length of the road. There's a lot of bicyclers using it now, as well as the Mennonites and the horses and buggies. And it's just the matter of trying to keep the speed at a more reasonable level. I think it's a good idea. I know traffic may or may not pay attention, but at least if police do patrol it from time to time, they can, they have the ability to enforce it if somebody is speeding.
And do we have signs up there for Mennonites with the horse and buggies on that road too, which is accused a lot by them?
I'd have to defer to staff on that, Michelle or Andrew.
There are 2 signs, one at each end.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Robinson, you had a question?
What about the concern in the areas where there's a bend? Are we going to be doing anything specific to those about reducing the speed in those areas, the higher risk areas?
So for those areas, and if in the resolution it states that further staff will put warning signs at areas along the road where they deem to be safety concerns. So we're going to look at those areas and put the appropriate signage.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Reiki-Schoenfeld, you had a question?
So will we inform the OPP that now we are changing our speed on that road so they can patrol it? Or that maybe it's an area that they could patrol maybe when they're going from, I don't know, Eganville to Kelly's Corners or something?
So this is a regulatory sign, which means that Queen's Park will actually get noticed and approve this.
Okay.
And we can pass that on to our local contacts.
Okay, thank you.
I see no further questions, so I'll call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki-Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes. That is carried. Thank you. Item 7.2 is the fire department update. I have a resolution that council accepts the fire department quarterly report as presented. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Reiki-Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Burnt. Any questions or comments on the fire department report? Councillor Reiki-Schoenfeld.
I think it's really good and they should be commended on the fact that they've searched out and found some grants. And the great thing about this grant, if they get it, it's 100% funded by the grant and we don't have to contribute anything to it. So hopefully they're able to get it. So I'd like to pass that on to the fire chief if somebody can do that.
Thank you, and I would agree. I'd also like to note that the fire chief has done an excellent job on providing the reports, on applying for grants, on keeping council updated on the trainings, on the renovations that have happened, on the coordination of training. It's just been such a positive step forward, and certainly I would hope that Andrew could pass that on to our fire chief.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank
Councillor
you.
Burnt.
I have to agree with what you said, James. He's doing a really good job with the fire chief. Looking for that money and finding them grants for us is really, really a big help for the township. I want that passed on to Kevin.
Thank you, Councillor Burnt. So I'll call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes, so that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.3 is the consent application. I have a resolution that council approves the draft plan of survey for consent application B43/20 with the condition that the property owner removes the unauthorized outbuilding encroaching on the municipal road allowance. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld.
How did this happen? Like, how did somebody figure out that it was encroaching on the municipal road allowance?
Maybe Michelle can answer that. I think it was probably because they sent an application to, correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but it's to, they have two adjacent lots and they wanted to maintain separate title on the two, and that triggered the survey requirement.
That is correct. So the property owners applied for a consent application, and the one condition was that a draft plan of survey was provided before it was registered. And when the draft was provided, it was noted that an outbuilding does encroach upon the municipal road allowance. And the County of Renfrew has requested that the municipality approve the plan of survey prior to the application being finalized.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.4 is the Green Steward Program. I have a resolution that council directs staff to launch the Green Steward Community Cleanup Program, and that council approves a budget of $500 to operate the incentive program in 2021. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Buckwalt. Comments or questions? Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld.
So I think this is a great idea. I'm just wondering if we could get an adult prize, of perhaps like maybe a gift certificate for a tree or something like that.
So if the councillor will note, there is a prize category for adult and youth.
I didn't see that though. Where
The
is-
third
oh, yeah,
paragraph?
no. Okay, now I saw that. I guess I just scammed down where it said about the bike. Yeah, okay, no, that's great.
Any other
Fantastic.
comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.5 is the County Council report. And I have a resolution that staff contact the county contact to include the township as part of the Renfrew County Community Automated External Defibrillator Program. Wow, that was hard getting that one out. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Buckwalt, seconded by Councillor Robinson.
Mayor Bros, I missed part of what you read on that there. Was that just a resolution?
That was a resolution, yes. And it's
Okay.
for It's for getting included on the list for, with the county, that they supply us with an external defibrillator. I know we had talked about this, and I think it was the Lake Dory property owners who raised it last year to have one installed at Melissa Bishop Park. And these are the ones that the county has researched. They do work well outside, and they can be accessed year round. And the
Okay.
county will look after maintaining them. So it's just to, the resolution is to make sure we're on the list, to contact the county to see if they can supply one for us this year and what it would cost us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld.
Yes,
I'm a yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item number 9 is the correspondence, action and non-action. I have a resolution that council accepts correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.3 as information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Burnt. I'll call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
yes,
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld,
yes,
and I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.1 is the Eganville Leader Summer Magazine. I have a resolution that council advertised in the Discover the Valley Summer Magazine for the following ad rate of a half page for $395 plus tax, $395 plus tax. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Buckwalt, seconded by Councillor Burnt. Comments or questions? Councillor Robinson?
Is this a new magazine?
I believe we've advertised in this one before, but I'll ask staff to confirm. Oh, you're muted, Andrew.
I'm pretty sure we did, James, before.
Councillor Burnt is correct. We did last year. We paid for a full page, and the full page, I believe, was the $395. This year, the half page is $395.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld.
yes,
I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. I have a resolution that it's 9.2.2 Municipal Affairs and Housing, that Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld participates in the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing Town Hall sessions. And these are the sessions in regards to the Code of Conduct amendments or changes that the Municipal Affairs and Housing is looking at instituting once the reviews are done. And everybody on council is invited to complete the survey. I believe the email went out with the link to the survey. I'll ask staff if I've missed anything. Is there Is there any more detail that they want to cover?
I think you've covered it all. I will note that I put Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld's name in there just so you'd have a name. I think that Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld will do very well in it, but it's council's decision who you send.
I'm okay with sending Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld.
As am
I
I.
agree with that unless somebody else wants to put their name forward.
Is there any other member of council that, yes, Councillor Robinson.
I was going to ask, is Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld in agreement?
Oh, yeah,
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld, are you in agreement?
sure. So I can't see you guys because I'm splitting the screen, so I'm just putting my thumbs up and hoping you see that.
Yes, we do see it.
Okay,
Thank you. So, actually, I forgot to ask for a mover and a seconder. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Councillor Burnt,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld,
yes,
and I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. I have a resolution that the Council of North Algona Wilberforce supports the 2021 census and encourages all residents to complete their census questionnaire online at www.census.gc.ca, as accurate and complete census data support programs and services that benefit our community. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? I know I received mine in the mail this week. Councillor Robinson?
I guess I'm really concerned because there's so many of our residents that don't have computer access. Like,
Maybe I'll let staff answer. I think there is a provision that if you don't have computer, you can, I don't know if you can do it by phone or if you have to ask for a hard copy in the mail. Andrew, do you have any more information on that?
So just the resolution is that Statistics Canada is encouraging people to do it online. It doesn't mean you have to do it online.
okay.
Mayor Burrows,
Yes, Councillor Byrne.
you said you got something in the mail this week from them?
I got my census notification this week, yes. And Laura
And it's
just
the
posted
address
a
where
little,
you go on.
yeah, it gives you the link where you can go online and also a phone number if you're having any problems to call for support. And
Okay.
Laura just sent a message to me saying that the census takers will be going door to door as well for people who may not have computer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld.
yes,
I'm a yes. It's carried. Thank you. Nine point 2.4 is the AMO online training. I have a resolution that all members of council be registered for the AMO 2021 Human Rights and Equity, the role and obligations of municipal leaders training workshop on Thursday, June the 10th, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the registration fee of $400. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Byrne, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? I see none, so I will call the vote. Councillor Byrne?
Well, Mayor Burrows, you said you want all council to register for this?
Yes, that's right.
And it'd be a Zoom meeting with them then? Or,
I believe it is a Zoom meeting, yes.
okay,
Councillor Ricky Schoenfeld, you had a question?
So then administration is going to send us the link. So are they like, what's that process then?
I believe once we're registered with AMO, then the link will come from AMO, and they'll
Okay.
probably send that out with I'm assuming with the schedule of the training and speakers.
Okay, thanks.
So do we have to go online and register?
I think if we approve this resolution, staff will register council.
Thank you.
Is that correct, Michelle? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up, so.
Correct.
Excellent. Thank you.
Councillor Byrne, you have
Mayor
another
Burrows?
question?
okay, you said that was Thursday,
Yes.
June the 10th? And the time?
9 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Yeah, Thursday's a bad day for me. Like, I don't know if I can stay that long for that meeting. Any other day of the week.
Maybe staff can check and see if they're offering any other dates. I'm not sure if they are, but
I don't
if they,
want
if
to pay $400. I don't want council to pay $400 and I can't attend that meeting because I have commitments always on Thursdays.
right. Maybe staff can follow up with you, Councillor Byrne, to see if there's another
Okay.
available date.
Yeah,
And I'm getting a thumbs up from staff, so they'll do that then.
okay, thank you very much.
I'll call the vote then. Councillor Byrne,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwalt,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schoenfeld.
Yes,
I'm a yes. That is carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.5 is the OPP detachment boards. So I have a resolution that council agrees to participate in the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP detachment board. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckwalt. So I just did want to give council, I did attend that meeting last Friday with the mayors from the Upper Ottawa Valley detachments. And one of the concerns from some of the smaller municipalities, I mean, we are one of three, Whitewater Region and Edmundston Brumley also share police services with two different detachments. Both Whitewater and Edmundston Brumley share Renfrew Police with Upper Ottawa Valley. One of the concerns from the rural municipalities was that their voice could probably get lost because of the larger municipalities, the city of Pembroke, the town of Petawawa, and possibly even Laurentian Valley. And the other question then was, in those instances, is there any advantage to being on both police service boards? What different type of messaging might be coming from the province that you would need to sit on two separate boards? Those were some of the concerns. We have already agreed to sit on the Killaloe OPP detachment board. And I like that because it is, those municipalities are certainly more rural like our own. But it certainly is, and we would have to pay for our members to sit on each board. So there's also a cost if we want to have membership in both boards. And membership, I understand it's certainly up to each municipality to determine what they would pay their representatives to sit on those boards. In the larger centers, I think Pembroke pays $3,000 a year per member, and Petawawa was somewhere around the same, but other municipalities, you know, might pay as little as $100 per representative. So just some thoughts for consideration for council. It certainly is your decision. I think I prefer just being on one, but I certainly will leave the decision up to council. So I will call the vote. Councillor Berndt.
don't we have to appoint somebody for the board at Pembroke? Or we just want to leave that open?
Well, the resolution
Upper
says
Valley?
the resolution says that we agree to participate in the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP Detachment Board. If we agree to participate, we do have to appoint somebody to sit on that board, somebody from our council. If we say we're not going to participate, then we don't have to do anything. Councillor Robinson.
I guess the concern that I have will be underserved in certain areas just by deciding to be on one of the boards.
And I understand your concern. Although having spoken to Pat DeSiviero in Killaloe, he assured me that himself and the staff sergeant at Renfrew and the one at Upper Ottawa Valley, they do work closely together, and they certainly do share and coordinate services where they can. I don't know. That's certainly, yeah, that's your decision whether you think we should go in that direction or if you're comfortable with one police service board. Does that help any or?
A little bit.
Councillor Buckwald, you had a comment.
Yes, I understand the concern about cost, but at the end of the day, there's a number of times that we've wanted to take things to the OPP and have people bring them to us. And this is basically our venue for doing it effectively, especially if you find things that are common across the other rural partners that are around us having similar issues. I would be reluctant to not send someone to represent the township on both boards, because we are serviced by both, and I think we should have on both.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld.
Did they ever like kind of say, is it one meeting a month? Is it a meeting every second week? Like, I mean, for consistency, if we did join both boards, the same person going to both would be important. But that being said, that also could be onerous, right? Depending on how many times they're meeting a month.
And I'm not sure, I know they meet at least quarterly. I don't know if they meet more often. And I think at this point, they're just looking for the participation and to set up the boards. And then I guess they have to work out some of the details on those things like how often and when the meetings would be held and where and so on. Well, I assume they'll be by Zoom, but at this point, they're just looking for the makeup of the boards, which I think they need by June the 7th. And the other, I don't have a resolution for it. I could ask staff to do one if we need it. The other question we would have to answer is, would our municipality agree to Pembroke having their own independent police service board? And you've seen the letter that they've sent out, the reasons why. But it would still take the consent from every member municipality. And we probably have time. We wouldn't have to decide that tonight. We could bring that back to our next council meeting, but it's just something to keep in mind.
And do we have to make the decision?
Yes, Councillor Robinson.
Do we have to make the decision tonight also on whether we stay on one board or both?
It would be good if we could, because there's another meeting next week. So if we're going to participate, we would want to make sure we're participating in the meetings that would involve the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP.
Okay. Can we
Yes.
then look at the other, because we can make the decision tonight on the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP Detachment Board, but what about making the decision to later go on the second one?
We've already made the decision to join the Killaloe Detachment OPP Board, and Councillor Buckwalt has been appointed to that one. So
It's
tonight,
just-
if we make the decision that we're going to participate, we don't necessarily have to appoint a representative at this meeting. We could wait till the next, and then we could also make the decision on whether we would agree with Pembroke having their own independent board.
Okay.
Councillor Byrne.
You don't know how often they would be meeting at Mayor Bros, do you? Like once a month or once every 2 months or once every 3 months?
I don't know. I don't know at this point, and I'm not even sure if those details have been worked out. I think they want to establish the boards first, and then they'll work through the terms of reference and so on moving forward. Councillor Buckwald, maybe you have more info.
Yeah, we were actually hoping to discuss it at our CPAC meeting. It was supposed to be on the 13th, but it's been canceled. Even before the meeting started and the new boards formed, once you select your people, the province still has to determine what training there has to be. They've got some general ideas, but no details yet. So there would have to be the training involved. The province would have to make their appointments in addition to the appointments that we're making. So all that still has to happen, and then you would get into, again, terms of reference, how often you're going to meet. Again, the police services boards for the Section 10 municipalities that have contract policing, they could be anywhere from a month every 2 months. Generally, the old CPAC format was semi-annual, sometimes quarterly, depending on how they plan. Again, as far as how many meetings a year, it's going to be up in the air. I think it's going to depend on the makeup of the committees. Again, with the rural committees probably meeting less often than the ones that have that purchase additional services.
Thank you. Yeah, those are still details, I believe, that have to be worked out. Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld, you have a question?
I can see the point that Councillor Buckwald made about having a voice on the board. Is there not a way, though, if there was something that was really happening at the Upper Ottawa Valley Detachment that we thought was impacting North Algona Wilberforce, can we as a township not send a letter with our concerns or our issues, and then it could be read at the board, and we wouldn't necessarily always need a member from us being there? I'm just trying to think of a way to save money, because being on an additional board is going to cost the township money.
And that's a good question, and one I can't answer at this point, but certainly, as I say, if I participate in the meeting that's coming up this week, I could certainly bring that question forward. Any other comments?
Well, maybe just one other question. So let's because this is a new, it's a new concept, right? So ask them if there's a way that if all of a sudden it was yeah, I really wish we were on the board because, this is really important for us. If the following year we could go on to that board also, or is it set in stone forever and ever, Or,
and that is a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. I think I think there would have to be a provision that you could join at a later date, but again, I'm not sure. Councillor Buckwell, maybe you have more info.
Yeah, having dealt with the province on things like this, it's a lot easier to get out of a committee than it is to get into one once everything has been struck and formed at the provincial level. Again, I think you were missing an opportunity if we don't participate. Yes, will there be a cost to it? Yeah. Can that be minimized by the group itself as to how frequently they meet? Probably. But again, do you really want to throw away that direct involvement with the process? Because generally, with sessions like that, I know even at CPAC, when we brought things forward in the past, it tends to go a little bit better than just sending a letter to the staff sergeant. It's always good to have that face-to-face contact and that relationship in place already, so that it lends a little bit more weight to your concerns when you get stuff.
The one concern I had, which I spoke to the representative Joanne Reading after the meeting because I wanted to get a little more background on the community safety and well-being plans that we all have to participate in as a municipality. Would that be an item that would be first and foremost on the police service boards? And interestingly enough, that I was told that there's not that much communication between the two. The woman said that she would think that it should be part of the discussions, but that she would have to put me in touch with somebody else in the department to answer that question. I'm still waiting to hear. I'm going to have to call her back because she was going to put me in touch to somebody that could help me with that, and I haven't heard from them yet. I found that a little bit unusual that there wasn't more communication between the two, but maybe it isn't that unusual. So I see no other comments. I will call for the vote. Councillor Berndt?
No.
Councillor Buckwalt?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld?
I'm going to say no.
I was leaning against joining, but I think I agree with Councillor Buckwalt. It's easier to get out later than it is to get in. So at this point, I will say yes. The boards aren't finalized until June the 7th. So we would have some time. Even after getting more information, we could probably still back out. So I will say yes, and then that's carried. Thank you. So item 9.2.6.
Fucking COVID, man.
Is the Boncher River Water Management Plan, and I have a resolution that council contributed $5,000 to the Boncher River Water Management Plan in 2021, and that the funds be debited from reserves. This is in response to a email request that KHR sent to ourselves in BV, asking for another contribution, as the plan has still not been finalized. They are still working through the final details with the Ministry of Environment, especially as it deals with the endangered species. and species at risk. And they did send a summary of their expenses to date. I believe that was sent out to all of council. So I'll ask for a mover and a seconder, and then we can discuss. Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Reiche-Schoenfeld. Discussion, comments, questions? Councillor Burnt?
We paid into this once before, Mayor Bose, right? That I remember.
We did pay into it, yes. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. And
I think it was 3 years.
KHR has been continuing to be the lead on this initiative. They've done the connections with the various departments, and the only one left for approval, the Ministry of Natural Resources has approved the power generation, Renfrew Power Generation has approved. So the only approval left is, and they just wanted, the reason they didn't approve at this point was they wanted to do more monitoring of the fish species, the turtles, etc., to see whether the early drawdown would affect their habitat and reproduction. And hopefully after this year, they'll have the data they need to move forward with their final approval. And that's why some of the extra costs were incurred, because they had to do more of those studies. Councillor Buckwell?
I think that that's something that we should support. We've seen the changes that have happened with the changes to how the water is being managed on the Lone Shore River. It's definitely been advantageous to us as far as conditions go. And again, I can test the same things. There's ourselves and Vulture Valley, both affected by on Golden Lake and down the river. I would think this would be a worthwhile contribution to make to help keep the process going forward, so that we can wind up with hopefully a good plan that protects our ratepayers in the future, and hopefully not have to do a lot of sandbag government again.
Thank you, Councillor Buckwell. And I can say that I've had a couple of residents from Golden Lake comment on how pleased they were with the freshet this year. I know we didn't have the snow load nor the rapid melt that we've had in other years that contributed to the flooding, but there were some of the residents' comments also were the fact that when the ice broke up, because the drawdown happened earlier, there wasn't the pile up and there wasn't the damage on the shorelines from the ice that they had in other years. So it seems to be certainly having a positive impact for the residents that live on the Golden Lake and Boncher River. Any other comments? I see none. I'll call the vote. Councillor Burnt?
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reiche-Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. (9.2.7) is a Connect Well community health donation. I have a resolution that council directs staff to respond to the Connect Well community health email to accept the donation of the walking poles. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Buckwell. Are you, oh, you're bringing up that report, Andrew? So that's 12 sets of Nordic walking poles. And it's a mix of new and used and fixed length poles with removable straps. It's great that they're making the offer, even though they are saying that's in an as-is condition. Any comments or questions? Councillor Ranky Schoenfeld?
I didn't see this report. Like, did it just come out this afternoon? This morning I downloaded it, so I don't even know what's going on there. Because I don't have it in my download from this morning.
Maybe I'll ask staff if they can give a little background. Oh, Laura just sent me a message saying
Or
it
just
came
bring up-
in after, it came in after 4 p.m. So can everybody see the report?
No,
Oh. All I can see is the agenda that says walking poles.
So Michelle's going to try and bring it up on the screen. There it
Okay,
is.
now I can see it. Okay.
Everybody had a chance to read it?
Yeah.
Any further comments? Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld?
That's great. I'm wondering once COVID's over and something, if we could talk to Shaw Woods, because I'm thinking something like there could be very beneficial, going up and down the trails and stuff like that.
That is a good idea. I agree with you.
Thanks.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I will call the vote. Councillor Burnt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yeah.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ranky Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you.
Come on, come on.
So I
come
have a
on.
resolution that council move into closed session for 5 personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and 1 for the purpose of education or training for members. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? And that we'd be going into closed at 7:54 p.m. Moved by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Burnt. Councillor Burnt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
yes.
I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. And now that we're in closed, I just have to ask council, maybe you can give me a thumbs